Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss another war poem of Wilfred Owen called Anthem for Doomed Youth. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. Let us know a little bit about the poet Wilfred Owen. He lived between 1893 to 1918. He is a renowned English poet known for powerful war poetry. He was a specialist in writing war poetry, and do you know why? Because he was one of those people who had had a first-hand experience of war, and it is because of this that he portrays such a realistic image of the horrors and the futility, the uselessness of war. Anthem for Doomed Youth was written during World War I, and it talks about the tragic and the useless nature of war. It emphasizes that war is just, useless. It's not something that is going to bring a very good outcome. The soldiers are ill-treated. There are lack of proper rituals for the dead soldiers. There's a lot of chaos and commotion throughout, and we need to learn to find ways of solving problems instead of fighting wars. This is something which Wilfred Owen wrote at that time about his views on war. Now, before we move ahead, let's also look at the title of the poem. Anthem for Doomed Youth the word anthem suggests that the poem is a kind of a musical composition where the poet is lamenting, he is crying, or he is feeling sad and reflecting on the condition of the young soldiers who are destined to die in the war. And how is this told? Through the use of the word doomed, that their life is doomed as soon as they have taken up the responsibility of being a soldier and protecting the nation, because ultimately when you become a soldier, you are left to the inevitability of fate. You never know whether you're going to live or die, so it emphasizes the tragic destiny of the soldiers. Now let's look at the stanza 1 of the two stanzas that are there in the poem. What passing bells for these who die as cattle? So the soldiers in the very beginning are being compared to cattle, just as there is no importance of these cattle, as they are unnumbered, unnamed, random animals who are moving ahead together to go and graze, and then they are subject to all those treatments and etc. Similarly, the soldiers are like that. They are without a name. They are just moving about. They are numbers who are moving about in the battlefield. Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orisons. That is the only sound that would be heard or associated with these soldiers, is the sound of the monstrous anger of the guns, the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle. They are the only sounds which mark the hurried prayers which are being told, or the last words which are being uttered by the soldiers. So it highlights the harsh and the mechanical nature of war, which has replaced the traditional ritual of mourning. If someone is a soldier has been martyred, there is a proper funeral rite which is prepared, etc. Those last respect that is supposed to be given to a soldier is also not given to him in a respectful manner. No mockeries now for them, no prayers, nor bells, nor any voice of mourning save the choirs. So here the idea continues that there is no mockery, there is no conventional way of saying a final goodbye to these dead soldiers. Instead, the choirs are ultimately the sound of what you will, instead of choirs singing for the soldiers, you will hear the sound of artillery and shells, because they are mere bodies after they are dead who have to be removed from the battlefield. So that time also the only sound that's being played in the background is the sound of the artillery, the weapons, the shells, which are described as shrill and demented. The bugles, which are typically associated with the military ceremonies, are calling from sad shires, emphasizing how there is a widespread of grief and loss across different regions. What candles may be held to speed them all? Not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes shall shine the holy glimmers of goodbyes. So, this stanza explores the lack of funeral rites that are to be given to soldiers. The candles that are typically lit to guide the departed soul are replaced by the tears in the eyes of the soldiers. The holy glimmers of goodbyes over here suggests that the farewell, which will be exchanged at this time, will be exchanged by way of eyes of the soldiers. They will not be able to formally have the last rites being performed for a soldier. That is what war does, that even the soldiers are not given a respectful goodbye. Their farewell is just when the soldiers are exchanging glance with each other and their eyes are full of tears. The pallor of girls' brows and the tenderness of patient minds become the symbolic flowers and mourning gestures. There is not even any possibility for any flowers to be arranged, as a mark of respect for them, but only the brows of the girls, the tenderness of the patient minds is what acts as flowers over here. The slow dusk represents the gradual descent into darkness and and death, because dusk is a time when day is fading into the night time. So that light exactly shows it replicates rather the fate, the destiny of these soldiers, that they are now drowning. They are, everything's turning dark and gray and gloomy, and the fact that the day is transitioning from day to evening or to night, the dusk time is the only time which is representing the loss of these soldiers, because there is no time to pay any respect, considering the hurry that is there to take revenge, to use weapons in the war. The soldiers, when they are alive, they are important because they are using those weapons to defend the country, but once they are dead, they are just mere bodies which are tossed left, right, center and moved away from the way, so that the other soldiers can move ahead and carry on with the war. So the poem conveys the sense of futility, senselessness, uselessness of war. It portrays war as a mere force that leads to life of youth of a nation just being, you know it's just swiped away from the hands of the people. There is no proper acknowledgement, respect, or purpose to their lives. They are very important when they are enrolling in the army, but once they are on board, they are just mere puppets in the hands of the authority. Secondly, the poem explores the soldiers and how they are treated almost like cattle. Their individuality is no longer important. Humanity is no longer given to them. They are just a part of the mechanical nature of war. Their only task is to go and create disturbance and chaos once the war is waging. And thirdly, there are lack of rituals. That is, these soldiers are not given a respectful final right. They are just left to be dying over there in the battlefield. So that also somewhere down the line crushes the romantic notion of war. War is thought to be something that will bring power, glory and fame, but that is not the case. So these are the main three themes that come out in the poem, and there is another video on war poetry that's live on my channel. I also have other poems of Wilfred Owen related to war which are live on my channel. You can also go and have a look at that. I'll provide the link in the description box below to get a more clearer idea about war poetry. As a form of critical appreciation or analysis in about 100 words, we could say that Anthem for Doomed Youth by Wilfred Owen is a poignant critique of war. It explores the dehumanization of soldiers and the absence of traditional mourning rituals. Owen's vivid imagery and poignant metaphors convey the brutality of conflict, portraying soldiers as cattle and their prayers being drowned out of the monstrous sounds of war. The poem masterfully explores the futility and senselessness of war, challenging the romanticized notions or ideas of war. Like, war is associated with glory and fame, but that's not the case. And Owen's anti war sentiment is palpable. It emphasizes the tragic destiny of youth sacrificed on the battlefield without any dignity, respect, or recognition. So the poem remains a powerful testament or example of the human cost of war and an enduring anti war classic. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.